Hi, Junior with today's thought. As you probably know, Tony Bobulinski testified in a closed-door session. Well, he was deposed before two House committees, actually. It was a joint deposition. And, well, you know, maybe you don't know. That's a pretty good question. Do you get your news from ABC, CBS, NBC, the major networks? Maybe you could let me know in the comments, because I don't have a TV, believe it or not. I just read a lot of news. I visit a lot of news sites on the internet. I don't have a TV because I'm a TV addict. If I turn it on, maybe I'll just watch. I'm just going to watch one Law and Order rerun, and I end up at 3:00 in the morning, and I'm still watching one after the other, because that's how they run them. Or the Food Channel, one Food Channel recipe, one after the other, or the History Channel. So I can't watch TV. I'm a TV addict. If I turn it on, I'll watch it all the time, and I was wasting so much time. Anyways, getting off the track here. If you're not a TV addict, and if you watch TV, and if you get your news, or if you get, hopefully from a lot of sources, but if you watch the major networks, I would be curious to know if this story got covered, because it's a major story. It was the day before I'm recording this, so it was Tuesday. I'm recording Wednesday. You're watching this on Thursday. But Tony Bobulinski testified. Do you know who Tony Bobulinski is? That's a good question, too, because maybe if you're just watching network news, you don't even know who he is. He is a former business associate of the Bidens, of Hunter Biden and Schwerin and all the people involved, and Joe Biden. That's the important part, because the most important point, because, well, the Democrats have been saying no evidence that Joe was involved, all hearsay, innuendo, yada, yada, yada. Well, Bobulinski is the guy who has the evidence, and he is a decorated, highly praised military, Navy, I believe, former officer. He comes from a long line of military officers who served in the military, his father, his grandfather. So the point is, his reputation is impeccable. They're not going to be able to smear him. The Democrats won't be able to. And he has receipts, as they say. He has evidence. He has emails. He has cell phones. He has a lot of stuff which he brought with him. And this is serious. This is how you know it's serious. From what I heard, well, we'll all know, because the transcript of that entire deposition is going to be released. You can count on it, and probably fairly soon. I'm looking forward to read it. I usually just read excerpts of these depositions, but I may just read the whole thing, this one, and I'm sure it's going to be enjoyable reading, unless you're a Democrat. But the way you know that he was credible and he had serious charges to make is because, from what I read, the Democrats were screaming at him. The Democratic side, the attorneys, I don't know, was the attorneys and or the representatives who were there, the Democratic representatives. But from what I heard, there was screaming. They were screaming, yelling at him, and he held firm. And so they. I don't know. I predicted it could. Well, I can predict two things. Number one, the transcript is going to be explosive, and number two, that the news media, the mainstream media, is probably going to bend over backwards not to cover it. So again, I'd be interested to know if they do cover it. It's going to be interesting to see what the media do if there's an impeachment, which looks increasingly likely, and it's going to be interesting to read James Biden has yet to testify, and of course Hunter Biden is to testify on the 28th, and we have to wonder why. Bobulinski, he definitively identified the Joe Biden as the big guy. The big guy, 10% held, 20% to Hunter, 10% held by H for the big guy. So H is Hunter. That's what, and the big guy is Joe Biden. That's what Bobulinski testified to under oath, and he mentioned that a couple times. He said, "I'm testifying under oath, under penalty of perjury." So it'll be interesting to see. That's the whole point of all these other depositions, to have specific questions to ask Hunter when he's up there, when he's deposed, and an obvious question to ask for the Republican attorney to ask is, Bobulinski says that Joe Biden is the big guy. Hunter Biden, is he the big guy? And number one, I don't see how he could take the fifth on that, because it's not, maybe he will, though. He's either going to take the fifth, or he's going to have to confirm that Joe Biden is the big guy, and then possibly we're going to see fireworks, but I can be pretty sure we're going to see an impeachment. I'm already pretty sure of that, and there's going to be a trial, and whatever happens to Joe Biden, they always say, well, why bother? Joe Biden is not going to be convicted in the Senate. You need a 2/3 vote. Yeah, well, maybe he won't, but everything is going to come out. The public is going to know. As others have said, an impeachment is as much political as it is legal, because there's no legal definition of a high crime and misdemeanor. So you're always getting into politics. The public is going to know, and I think it's going to get out no matter how much. Well, I don't know how they can. They broadcast in its entirety on the main channels the two Trump impeachments. I don't know how they cannot broadcast a Joe Biden impeachment. So it's all going to come out. And if the evidence is clear, that Joe Biden is compromised, corrupt, yada, 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 if the Democrats all vote against it, well, the public's going to see that too. So I think it is possible that they will vote for to remove him from office, because also that's another way to get rid of him. They want to get rid of him. They're looking for a way. And I've heard all these theories. Well, they'll do it at the convention, or somebody will go, as with Nixon. A group of Democrats will go. I mean, it was Republicans in Nixon's case, but a group of party elders will go to Joe Biden, and so it's time to hang it up, because I'm sure the Republicans would be, or I hope they would be, merciful. I don't know, maybe not, because maybe Trump, if he wins, would not be so merciful, considering what's been done to him. But for the good of the country, if Biden would just say, I'll serve out, because we don't want a President Kamala Harris, even for one day. So the ideal situation would be that the evidence would be so overwhelming that Biden will say, well, for health reasons, or the classic excuse, I want to spend more time with my family. He'll just say, well, I'm withdrawing my candidacy, and I'm just not going to run. And then he would be able to serve the remainder of just there'd probably only be a couple months left in his term. And for those of you who are wondering why bother, you bother because you don't want him to be able to serve a second term, 4 more years. So that's they're going to. And we have to remember, Trump was impeached after he left office, I believe. I mean, they impeached him, after January 6th. I think within a week or 2 weeks they had impeached him, without none of the months of holding hearings that they did for the first one. They just did it right away because they wanted to get him. So, we can speculate, and I'm kind of getting off the track again, as I so often do. And the main point I want to get to is what most, if there was we haven't seen the transcript of the deposition yet, the entire deposition, but we have seen the text of the opening statement that Bobulinski gave, and we're going to. I'll put a link to it. Okay, I'll put a link to the statement, but there is one part of that statement I'm going to read now that really, really bothered me. It should bother everybody, and it goes beyond any evidence or charges against what Biden did. I'm going to read it right now. I'm going to use the pronoun I, but I don't mean I, Gene Schwimmer. I mean I, Tony Bobulinski. I'm speaking in his place, just quoting his words. United States law enforcement appears to have been singularly unwilling to speak with me or to hear the facts we will be discussing today. I have never been contacted to provide testimony nor asked to speak with anyone connected with Joe Biden's administration, including his Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the Internal Revenue Service, or local law enforcement. That includes U.S. Attorney David Weiss for the District of Delaware, or any of the several grand juries I now know were convened after my name became publicly known. On October 23rd, 2020, I voluntarily walked into the Washington field office of the FBI with several phones containing years of encrypted communications between me and numerous members of the Biden family and their associates. That conversation, which was subject to false statement statutes, lasted many hours and was never followed up upon by anyone in government or law enforcement in any way. I have only told the truth. I continue to tell the truth. I have the facts, and as we will discuss today, I also have the receipts to back them up and to cause a lot of Democrats to scream at him. But that is what really bothered me. He went to, this was back in October 2020, a month before, October 23rd. So October 23rd would be just a couple of weeks before the election, but still we had a right to know. But the FBI didn't want to hear anything, and even between, we would know, even if, Biden obviously, won, I put that in quotes, won the election, and but there would still be a couple months before he would take office, and then even when he actually takes office, then he would be impeached, a lot sooner than apparently is going to happen. But the FBI, the point is that you have these organizations. I mean, it's the Justice Department. They're supposed to pursue and administer justice. They're supposed to act on our behalf, and instead they're acting as a Praetorian Guard for Democrats. I mean, if this were Donald Trump, do you think the FBI would have covered up something? No. We had the Russian collusion hoax. They'll jump on something that's absurd. But if it hurts a Republican, they'll jump on it right away. But here we have Tony Bobulinski walking into the Washington field office of the FBI, and they spoke to him for several hours and did nothing. The only relief I have from that is that they didn't seize the cell phones that he had with him. Apparently, I hope he took the precaution of copying whatever was on those cell phones anyhow. But that's it is really sad. We have, and I hope that this is one of the deep state things that I hope serious problems that I hope the next president, if he's a Republican, Trump or anyone else, presumably Trump, would tackle this right away, because there's a serious house cleaning in order. And then I would just add one more thing, is the press. The press is supposed to, as the saying goes, comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. They're supposed to represent us too, and they're supposed to, the most important function that the press performs besides just reporting on facts, which would be nice if they would just do that without coloring. If Trump says something about the 2020 election, just say Trump's charges about the 2020 election instead of Trump's false charges. They always have to put that adjective in front of it, and that's a minor thing that bothers me. What really bothers me is that the most important function of a free press is investigative journalism, to find something, see something funny, like Watergate, and go after it, to pull on threads and see where a thread leads, and to put the one and one and one and one and one together. They only do that for Republicans. If it's a Democratic scandal, they act as a Praetorian Guard, and they will do everything to hide it, including hiding Joe Biden's health conditions. I mean, they should be screaming for him to take a cognitive assessment test. He's refusing to do it, and it's just sad that they're not doing that. And well, I don't know. I mean, if you don't have a press, an objective press, or a press that's equally willing to go after both sides, then I don't know. I honestly don't know what we do. So I guess that's it for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. I would love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.